4, 3, 2, 1, and welcome to Photo4me episode 8. We've got a special guest, Alison Chambers, coming on a bit later on. But without further ado, I want to introduce you to the team. We've got Mark, who looks after member success.
Hey guys.
I stumbled over his words because he's jumped up the list. He was below Mike and now he's above Mike. We've now got Dan, who does content and marketing, social media marketing. Mike, who runs the day-to-day and operations. And me, myself, John, I do tech and marketing. So it's important you stick around to the end of the video because we're going to be telling you more about what's been selling and all the exciting new updates that are coming to the site. But without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Mark and member success.
Yep. Okay. So this list gets longer and longer and longer. So if someone wants to make a cup of coffee, now's the time. So there are 29 people who've sold for the first time this week. So here goes. There's the list. He's got Jeff Childs, Danny Wallace, Milton Coggill, Henry Harrison, Bex R, Sharon Long, Matt Hill, Pablo Romero, Richard Draper, Alistair Rose, Richard Perks, Paula Tracy, Bill Alsop, Graham Palmer, Johnny Gios, Craig Hartley, Jeff Walker, Alistair McKenzie, John Frid, Craig Cunliffe, Robin Chun, Lewis Gabel, Yusuf Kader, Peter Thomas, Bill Moores, Dave Matthews, Robin Hunter, Clive Reese, and Ranko Dokmanovic. There you go.
Way. Well done, Mark.
Well done, Mark. Well done, everybody. That's amazing, isn't it? That's the biggest list we've ever had.
That's massive. It beat our halfway through Black Friday list last week, so well done.
Mark, do you need oxygen after that? Catch your breath.
I'm going to get a machine installed here. I need to carry on because obviously we've got this week's top sellers. We're going to do 6 top sellers because actually the number one spot is always Mr. Bigger Dyke. So,
yeah, congratulations, James.
Well done.
Yeah. But we're going to stop mentioning you because it's boring. You're always at the top. And then we got Adrian Evans at number 6, Ray Pritchard has got 6, Darren Gelpin's got 6, Jerry Greer has got 5, and White Landscapes 5. There you go. And then a huge shout out to our editor's choices this week. That was Chris Petty, White Landscapes, Diana Moa, and Paul Messenger. There you go.
Well done, everybody.
Yeah.
Lovely. Off the back of that editor's choice list, a lot of you have been asking how we actually select our editor's choice. As we said, we're looking for what customers are searching for the most. One of the selections this week, one of the top searches was Abernethy Forest, and I did make an image the editor's choice, but as a top tip, there was only 26 images with the tag Abernethy Forest, so that's not even a whole page of images. So anyone who's been to Scotland in that area, you can get uploading Abernethy Forest images because there's a real gap in the market for that.
Make sure it is Abernethy Forest.
Yeah, don't start throwing all your images in there. We will be watching. And also a special shout out to Milton Coggill, if I pronounce that right. We actually used their photo, which sold for the first time. It's on your screen now. We used that photo as part of our Black Friday social media campaign. We did obviously directly link it to the photographer, but it's really good to see that that's working. So that's really great news.
Yeah.
On the back of Jerry Greer's email to Mike, a huge shout out to him. He actually sent over some images that he had sold in customers' homes. That'll be on your screen now as well. But what we are doing at our end is we're going to work on a customer hashtag campaign. So what we do is we're going to start encouraging people who've bought with us to use the hashtag #MyPhoto4me. And basically what that will do is we'll encourage them to upload an image to social media. And if they use that hashtag, the customers will now be entered into a monthly prize draw. And that means that they'll be able to pick a piece of art up to a value of £100 if they win. We're going to put some more T's and C's out about that, a bit more information. But for photographers that are in contact with their customers beyond the buying process, like Jerry is, please encourage them to take a photo of what they've purchased. And you can either post that in the Facebook group, you can share it on our timelines, share it across social media, because we want to see the end product. And
we want to see what the images look like in the wild, don't we? That's
that's the goal. That's the goal. Especially in this build up to Christmas, you know, sales have been through the roof. People are buying gifts, and we really want to see the artist product out there in the physical world.
With the happy customers as well, you know, not just a reproduction of the wall art on the wall, but you know, with a smiley face next to it would be really good.
Yeah. I mean,
I suppose there's always an issue that some people might not want to share pictures of themselves, but I think that would be a lovely idea if you actually saw the customer as well.
Well, it's out there now, so hashtag my photo for me. We'll see what happens. And as photographers, you guys can also keep an eye on that hashtag. So we'll see what happens. We're now going to hand over to Mark, who's going to do his member success presentation, I believe.
Yep. Let me just get myself organised, ready for that. Share the screen. Wait, oh no, it's all the wonder of technology. I know it's all.
I've just allowed you to share your screen, so you should be able to.
There you go.
There you go. Sorry.
We had a smooth 8 weeks, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. It was all good up to this point. Okay, so again, I've got my good list and my naughty list. On my good list, we got the Soviet War Memorial in Berlin by Mark Hardesty. That's a really great image, and the keywords are all spot on with that. Sunny day in Blackpool. Once all these restrictions and things start lifting, there's nothing better than a sunny day somewhere like Blackpool, even in the midst of winter. And another great image of the sort of time of year that we're in. You know, lovely winter walk there from Francis Wilson, Off the Beaten Path. So yeah, some great images, and they're all tagged and keyworded lovely.
It's a really nice title as well.
Actually. Yeah, it is. Yeah, actually, really some real thought onto that one, which is good. Sorry, here's my naughty list. Rich Sky
off the back of a nice title.
Yeah, Rich Sky Tones is quite a nice title, I suppose. But Jackie, we need to know again where it is. You know, this is the common theme, I know, but you know, we know that that's what people are searching for. And again, you know, this image by Coastline Pictures, old mining. We know it's. I mean, most people will recognise this as Cornwall, but unless it's in the keywords, it's really not going to get picked up.
And just be careful also with the if it's a National Trust site or not, and if it's on their land.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's, at some point I want to do a piece about that because I know there's still a lot of chatter about that in the Facebook group. So I want to do a whole piece on legal things. So yeah, I'm just getting all my ducks in a row before I stick my head above the pulpit on that one. And then this one here, Outdoor Ocean Beach by Steve Lambert. He's got a series of pictures which look really great. I picked this one because I'm particularly drawn to it. However, people still want to know where it is that you're taking this shot. So yeah, Steve, if you could just make those changes. And then quickly on to my top tips. It's a pretty short and sweet one this week, but dodgy dogs and other animals. We get a lot of submissions of people who take pictures. You know, our relationship with our pets. I can't say too much because I don't own a pet apart from some goldfish, which are pretty dull. But they're not overly photogenic either, to be fair. But you know, as a nation, our relationship with our pets is quite something, and people take pictures of their pets. And there has been some that have gone through the approvals that we've had to sort of dismiss because, you know, they're difficult things to photograph, as anyone will tell you. I mean, wildlife photographers will tell you animals are particularly difficult.
I think what Mark's trying to say is a big thing that Mike's picked up on is that people often upload a photo of their pet, which they're really emotionally connected to. They love their pet. But in terms of selling that pet to someone else, the chances of someone buying an image of your pet are quite slim. So
yeah,
you need to make sure the end product is suitable for that person who might be looking for a particular breed of dog photo or something like that.
Yeah. So what I've done here is I've got two pictures that I've taken. You might recognise one of these dogs, John.
That's my dog. That's your dog. Did you kidnap my
I thought
dog?
you had the bird, John.
No, essentially, we dog sat for a couple of days, and this is her sitting in my living room. But you don't want to see all the detritus and stuff in my living room, really. As beautiful as Luna is, the framing of the picture, she's quite a photogenic dog, it has to be said, but just the surrounding stuff just doesn't. And I also, try to take a picture of a robin, which is really difficult. And I'll show you, where people have got it right here. So, there you go. So, these images are more spot on, and they're more likely to have a connection, with people who own that breed of dog, or the robin's a great one this time of year. It sort of very much reminds you of a winter. There is one actually bobbing around as I speak, just outside my bar here. So,
well, one of my friends is always had 2 black labs. So he'll have one, and then when that dog's getting a little bit old, he'll buy a puppy to accompany it. And so he's always got 2 black labs. So a beautiful picture of a black lab, he would probably he would either buy it, or a member of his family might buy it, because they know that he loves black Labradors.
It's all about making them believe that it could be any dog, not just your specific dog. In the description, don't say my dog Luna. Just say, this is a beautiful picture of a black lab. Or
I guess another top tip for those images is actually it might be worth putting the breed in the image title, definitely. Because people will be searching
certainly the keywords.
Keywords. We obviously can't see the keywords, but people will be looking for a specific breed or something along those lines if they do want a dog photo. So
and that goes for all animals too. It's not just specifically dogs we're talking about.
And actually, there's another thing you can really start to think about. So, for instance, with James Biggerdike, he thinks of a very emotive reason why someone would buy the photograph, and he adds other things to it that are emotive. So, if I really love black labs, and then we have a black lab on Brighton Beach, for example, and I've got an emotive connection to Brighton, and it's got a black lab. Wow. There's going to be a higher chance of me buying it. So, these pictures here, these animals are very sort of stock style, and probably won't pull enough emotional triggers for someone to buy it. But if with that dog on the beach, if that beach was somewhere where I knew, and is that what kind of? It's a terrier, isn't it? What kind of?
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure actually.
Some form of terrier. So if you had the beach tagged where it was, and then the breed of dog, boom, someone's going to buy it.
Yeah, exactly that. So there you go. So if you are uploading images of dogs, please give it some thought about A, the composition of the picture, but B, the keywording of the tagging.
The setting is huge.
Really good tips there, Mark.
Cool. All right, that's me done. So I'll stop sharing my screen. There we go. That's all yours.
Beautiful. I think it's time for our special guest this week. Oi. This week we have Alison Chambers.
Oh, looking forward to speaking to her.
Yeah. I'm sure anyone who's involved with our Facebook community will have seen her name. She's quite new to Photo4me, but she took up photography around 5 years ago. She's got a really strong gardening background and a deep knowledge of flowers, which really influences the type of art that she makes. She's also passionate about UK landscapes, takes photos of historic buildings, and she really just wants to inspire anyone who wants to get out there and start selling their art to join the platform and give it a go. So let's get Alison Chambers in. Hey!
Hello there. Hi.
Hey, Alison. How's it going?
Hi. Great. Thanks. Pleased to meet you all.
I know it's good to finally meet you. We've seen you in the Facebook group plenty of times. It's nice to finally put a name to the face.
Yeah. Likewise. It's nice to. I mean, it's virtual. It's not real life, but it's as nearest to like real life as it will get.
One day, it's the best we can do for now in this situation.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I like how you have Christmas ready to go.
I know. I thought I'd put a few lights in the background, set the scene, Get everybody in the mood.
I've got to up my game.
Some people are saying it's too early, but hey ho.
Oh, come on. Look at this. It's a gorgeous tree.
Well, I normally put my decorations up a week after my birthday, which is on the 6th. But this year, with everything going on, I thought, no, we need cheering up, don't we?
Yeah, bring it forward.
100%. That's what we said. That's what we said in this house too.
So, Alison, before we kick off, why don't you just tell us a bit about yourself? I know you've recently joined Photo4me. You've been photographing for the past 5 years or so.
That's right, yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a bit about how you got into it, the type of art style you're passionate about, and about yourself. Go right ahead.
Okay. So, I mean, really, the photography thing really kicked off about 5 years ago when my husband retired. And he wanted to get us both a camera as a retirement present. And I said to him, well, I'm not that fussed about having a camera, you know. I mean, apart from having a little point and shoot camera that I used to take away on holiday with me, I've never really been into photography. But having said that, it was becoming more the case that I was commandeering that little point and shoot more and more on our travels, which I think was what made him want to sort of say, you know, we'll get one each and then we're not fighting over the camera. But I said to him, you know, get me something else because I'm not bothered about having a camera. But he kept coming back to the idea and I had no alternative ideas. I said, so, okay, then get me a camera then. That's fine. I'll just settle for a camera, you know. So he got me an entry level professional camera, Sony a6000. And I can honestly say from the moment that I picked up that camera, I have never put it down. You know, it really kind of turned my life around. You know, and I've not looked back, and I don't regret getting a camera for one single, you know, minute.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you just started taking photos casually when you're out and about on trips and stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was more of a hobby to start off with. Well, for the first 5 years, it was about pretty much a hobby of mine. And at that point, I wasn't really into social media or anything like that. To be honest with you, I'm a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to technology. I always need a bit of a push to try new things, you know. Yeah. So I came across the website Pinterest, and that was the first thing that I joined. And that kind of it kind of honed my mind into the type of photographs that I like to look at and what appeals to me. And I thought, I really like certain things that I really like and really resonate with me. And of course, you start trying it out with your own little camera. Yeah, and then I went onto Instagram, and at that point, I was mainly taking just flower photography because I'm a very keen gardener, and that took off quite well. But it wasn't like the type of flower photography that I now find myself doing, which is more sort of has a more artistic side to it. It was just pretty much nice photos, but just like bog standard photos of flowers, you know. Yeah.
So do you have do you have like a process when you go to take pictures? I know that our previous guest said, you know, they really think about it. Are you more sporadic or more like sort of just take the camera out and whatever happens, or is there some sort of planning process behind what you want to take?
There's not a huge deal of planning. I mean, like I say, I know what I like. I think I've got a good eye for it because I can go to the most unpromising place and usually come back with something that I think, that could work. I've got an eye for what makes a good scene, you know, and I mean, I do a lot of travelling within, you know, the UK because I really do love the British scenery, which is something else that I've sort of got into, you know, the countryside and what have you, and you know, and I mean, I might say, okay, I want to go to such and such a place and plan it in that respect. But then see what there is when I get there, and it's very rare that I come back empty-handed. If anything, I come back with like loads of photos. So sort of burden myself with so much editing to do and what have you. Never a dull moment.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of a little bit of my journey because I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go out and almost not steal but take a photograph of something I knew would then try and sell. I would try and sell it on eBay actually.
Yeah.
That was been my first port of call.
Yeah.
And it's such a buzz when you get a sale.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I was actually going to ask off the back of you mentioned a lot of editing. Now that you've adopted this very artistic style to your approach, it's going to be on your screen now for those who are watching. How do you go about getting to that end process? When, say, you visit a location, you take a photo of a flower, do you just gather a lot of raw assets and then see how the editing process develops, or do you have an end vision in your head of what you'd expect that outcome to be?
Yeah, both really. I mean, sometimes I'll go out and I'll visit a garden and I'll see a flower and I think, oh, that's just a really nice flower. And I'll obviously try and take the best shot of it that I can. Bearing in mind, sometimes I can sort of see roughly what the end process is that I'm going to want to show it off in. But also it's a very evolutionary process too. Because going back to almost this time a year ago, I got myself a new computer and a new editing software, Affinity Photo, which is very similar to Photoshop. And I set myself the New Year's challenge of, I said, Alison, you really need to come up to scratch with the technology side of photography, particularly with editing. And you know what? It hasn't been easy because I'm not naturally a techno person. It has been blood, sweat, and tears minus the blood so far, you know. But do you know what? But I stuck with it, and it's been tough. And my husband wanted to buy me. Well, he bought me a book for £50 to show me how to do this. But I'm not a bookish person, and I don't learn by reading. I learn by hands-on, just doing it over and over.
Yeah.
Learning how to edit properly has helped me bring out the artistic side of me. Like when I see a flower, there's so many different techniques that you can apply, and quite a lot of it is experimentation, you know, and even an evolutionary process. And I think the thing is to know when to stop.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like when if any of you paint or draw, because I've done a lot of drawing in the past, you've got to know when to stop, because like one stroke too much can ruin the whole thing.
I went to art college and they were the key words there were, it's not necessarily what you paint, it's what you don't paint, and it's what you leave out that often tells the story better than what you try and cram in.
Yeah,
so,
like hairdressers, looking at your beautiful head of hair. like hairdressers, you can take a cut too many, and that one cut can kind of ruin the whole look. It's kind of a similar
that's exactly
thing.
what happened, Alison.
Sorry to draw attention. But your facial hair more than makes up for it.
But it's playing with light. So when you take the first photograph you're thinking about the light and the direction of the light.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then when you get it into your computer, there's the computer, but it's still light. It's you're dodging and you're burning. That's still techniques that were happening in a dark room.
Yeah.
And
10 years ago, 15 years ago. So
but it's amazing how that's changed, hasn't it? The difference between what you do in traditional photography in the dark room to what you do in digital photography. I mean, I'm not trained in traditional photography. I only know the modern day sort of editing, but I can't believe how much that's changed, because one's a really physical thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and then the other thing, it's more sort of like what you know up here, really, I suppose. But I mean, I'm not saying that one's better than the other. It's just different.
No, they're both completely.
I think that the trouble with technology is that you tend to rely on the effects that you know you can get rather than the artistic abilities that you might have. And I think you have to draw a balance between, you know, relying on filters and effects and stuff like that. I think there's still a core. You've got to know what a great image looks like, and
absolutely, you've got to have an eye for it. You really do. I mean, I don't think anybody can just sit down and, I mean, well, people can just sit down and do it and mess around, and you know. The results really depend on whether I think you've got an eye for it, which I do like to think that I have.
Well, I guess the proof's in the pudding if people buy, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think the other thing that's really important is to experiment and find your style.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But when you found your style, I think you should really try and stick to that.
Absolutely.
So you become known for that sort of look and that feel, because so for instance, like I was looking at the photograph you uploaded this morning, and you know that you can tell you've almost got to that point where you can I can look at it and go, oh, that's one of Alison's photographs. So when you found that, like that almost like signature. So my dad used to say to me, every picture's got to have a beginning and a middle and an end, just like a story. So it has to have a foreground, it has to have a middle ground, and it has to have a focal point that leads your eye to it. So for a while, I was obsessed with finding a picture or taking a picture of a lamppost in the foreground, something in the middle, and something in the background. But it's incredibly difficult to stick to. Particularly if you're creative, because if you're creative, the whole process is doing something new, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that you could tell that it's one of mine. I've had that said to me before, actually. And going back to the days when I used to, when I was a child, really, and used to do a lot of sketchings and things, I always used to try and make the drawings that I did look as realistic as possible. But there was no sense of me in that artwork that I produced. And like a lot of the artists that you see out and about today, and also like, you know, the artists of yesteryear, you can look at their paintings and think, oh, God, that's a Rembrandt, or that's a Van Gogh, you know, instantly. And I never managed to accomplish that with my artwork. But through my photography, I do believe that I am actually developing a unique style all of my own, which really pleases me, actually. And it makes me think that photography is the medium for me. It's the medium that actually works to express my creativity.
Do you use an airbrush?
I do use brushes,
Yeah, you do,
Yeah.
Because I think I don't know how you pronounce it now. Wacom?
Yeah, Wacom.
And
tablet.
It's like a tablet and you've got an airbrush. Yeah, and I just wish I had time to do it. I just don't have time.
It is really painstaking. I mean, compared to the landscapes which I take, the flower photography, it takes so much longer to produce the end result mainly because of the experimentation side of it, and just it's like a journey. You know, you start on the journey and you see where it will end. Whereas with the landscapes, it is more straightforward. Having said that, with the landscapes, you know, I do like to give a painterly effect quite often. Because another passion of mine, apart from the flower photography, is cottages. I absolutely love cute country cottages. You know, like the chocolate box images that you used to get. That really appeals to me. I love the romantic sense that it gives it, and obviously with that type of photography, I do like to make it look like the old chocolate box images. It's just something that I really like.
So we've got this new collections tool coming out soon, and I've been playing with it, and I think it's going to be something that someone like yourself is going to find out really useful, because you'll be able to say, I'm looking at the Wentworth cottages that you've got there now. You could almost build a collection of, you know, rural towns or cottages, drag them all into that, and then that's a collection that
I think that's a good idea, actually. I think that's a really good idea.
No spoilers, try to hold on to it. he's like trying to tell everyone about it already.
I think it's a good thing, because it'll help the artists locate the pictures quicker as well.
Would you like to have would you like to be the first person to use it?
Yeah.
He just can't keep his powder dry, can he?
We'll send you a test link.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it'd be good to do.
There you go. That's the advantage of coming on the show, you see.
There you go. Get to test the infamous collections that's been spoken about.
No, it'd be good. I think it's a good idea. I think it's definitely a good idea. You know, because I mean, on other sites that I sell on, they all have those sort of features, and it just makes sense because it's quicker for you to locate things. It's quicker for the customer to locate things. You know, gives a sense of order to your gallery.
Yes, and that sense of building something new and creating it on the site as well, which we want to kind of give to the artists. Yeah.
Alison, I was really curious. Speaking of collections and sort of series of photographs within your portfolio, when you're working on your own physical products, for example, you mentioned you sell calendars and art prints. Do you have any like specific series that you release through a physical product? How do you decide what photos you put on the physical product you're putting out? Because obviously you'd be very limited or have to be very selective to the types of photos you decide to manufacture yourself. So how do you go about deciding that?
Okay, well, I mean, with the calendar thing, I was approached by a photographer who lives in Sheffield, who you might know, Darren Galpin. Oh. And he was a follower of mine on Instagram for a while, and he saw the potential in my photography. And we got talking, struck up a friendship, and we then entered a collaboration of producing 3 calendars of local towns near where we live. So, I mean, that's really what that's what dictates what goes into the calendars, is images of like Barnsley, Doncaster and Wakefield. You know, and obviously we want to show these places off in the best light, and you know, I go out quite often on my bicycle, actually, just tootling around the area, set off on a daily adventure, you know, with my camera in my backpack. And I'll stop and I think, oh, you know what, that looks really nice, and that could fit into the calendar. And gosh, we've got so many images now. We keep it running till blooming 2040. You know?
You've even been down as far as Kent, haven't you? You've been down to Whitstable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I go all over. You know, I mean, that was in October time, actually, in between the 2 lockdowns. We had a week's holiday there. I'm telling lies. That was the year before, actually. That was last year that we did that. It was Cotswolds that we went to this year. Yeah, getting all mixed up. Go to so many places, you see, I can't keep track of it, me, man. Kent, beautiful place. Again, lovely cottages with the sort of white featherboard style cottages that you get down there. But that was just before I decided to start selling photos. So I hadn't got a whole lot of material from down there, because I only really, I mean, it was Darren that told me about Photo4me, and I joined back in February of this year.
Oh, great!
You know.
So you're doing it like the sort of the right way. You're building your portfolio up slowly over time. Like every day, you add a few new pictures.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And I think that's the sort of right attitude, not to burn yourself out and sort of upload 250 pictures.
Oh no. I mean, it's quality over quantity, I do think. Yeah. And I will only put out there what I'm pleased to put out with there, because it's my reputation at stake as well. If I put a substandard photo out there, it's not going to reflect good on your site, and it's not going to reflect good on me, you know. So I do think sometimes less is more, but a steady flow of it, you know. So people know that you are an active artist, you know. I think that's really important.
That's the thing. We often see, you know, a lot of people just dump their whole portfolio on, and then it sort of sits there. But if you stagger your releases, you know, like you said, it keeps you more active, and it always gives because we have the wide Photo4me audience, and then we have the individual artist audience. It keeps the audience engaged. It means you can post more of it whenever you upload. So that's a really really good method. Before we wrap up, I'm just curious as to what actually made you decide to start selling your work? We haven't actually touched off on that. How long was it before it clicked in your head that you was like?
So I was doing it as a hobby for full 5 years, and I always knew that I was good and that I had an ability and an eye for it, but I needed that push, like I always do, like getting the camera, this, that, and the other. I always need that push to do it, and it was really meeting Darren really that had the biggest influence on me, because he said he saw the potential in it, and he said, you really should try selling it. And I said, well, do you know what, Darren, I wouldn't know where to begin. I'm a photographer, I know that I can do it, but I haven't got the business mind. And he says, well, try Photo4me, and because you guys, you take the headache out of doing it. You do the printing part of it and everything, which is great for people like me who, you want to try and sell your photography, but you don't want to have the headache of doing it right from scratch, So yeah, that was back in February. Yeah, that I took the plunge, and I've been enjoying it ever since. It's a real rags to riches story, man. Except I haven't got to the richest part yet.
I think none of us have. We're all hoping to. That.
Yeah, but I do it for the love of it anyway. Even if I weren't to make a single pound more, which hopefully won't happen, but even if I weren't to do that, I would still do it because it's my passion.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And I can't imagine life without a camera in my hand now, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I guess before we wrap up then, what advice can you give to anyone else who might be thinking about taking the plunge or who are struggling to get that first sale? Is there any advice that you can give them to keep them motivated?
I would say, like John touched on, try and develop your own style. Don't try and copy other people's styles. Try and develop your own style, because that's what people will come to like you for eventually. I would say don't follow the bandwagon of what everybody uploads. I mean, I know that some types of photos sell more than others, but if everybody does that, then two things. It's kind of making your website look a bit like the gallery's all very similar, and it's making your gallery look all very similar. You need to be kind of individual and follow your heart in what you want to do. It's not just about the customer finding an emotional connection in the photos that they're looking at. You as the photographer has to have an emotional connection to what you're taking. That's really, really important. And that's where your passion will show through, I do think. Yeah. And go for it, What have you got to lose?
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Oh, well, thanks so much for joining me, Alison.
I'm
guessing that John's going to be in touch about this collections.
Oh, yes. I must follow through for that now.
Yeah, we're going to hold
it here, folks.
It should. Well, we're going to have it on test by the end of the week, so I'll send you a link for that.
Okay, then, yeah.
Great.
Sure.
Oh,
Lovely.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Alison.
Thank you.
We will see you in the Facebook group after
this.
This.
Okay, then.
See you later. Thanks for coming
on.
Bye.
Bye then.
Bye.
Oh, thanks so much, Alison, for joining us. Her Instagram is going to be on your screen now. Do pop over and give her a follow. And now I believe we're handing over to Mike. Products and what is selling.
Yeah, thanks to Alison for coming on and telling us about her experiences. But this week, so our top 5 searches this week was number 1 was the Isle of Wight. Dan, you noticed a trend on Twitter, didn't you?
Yeah, there was quite a few Isle of Wight images being sold. So I had a look at the search analytics, and Isle of Wight was right up there. So we also made it an editor's choice, of course. So
unsurprising.
I'm surprised. Isle of Wight, get out there, get uploaded.
And then in second highest search was Donegal again. Fred
Dibna.
I wonder if that's not maybe an
I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
And then Guernsey and Jersey Channel Islands was rounding out the top 5. So if you have any of these pictures, do try and upload them, get your keywords right, and hopefully success will follow you. And so what's happened in the last 7 days? So, well, as you know, Black Friday just happened. It was go, 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 go. it was over 300 images had sold within a 2 or 3 days span. It was pretty wild. I'm pretty tired. I'm not making them, but I'm dealing with them. One thing that, in light of this, because we've sold so much, when you did join initially to the website, we asked for your phone number, and now we didn't realize it until recently. But in fact, you couldn't edit your phone number. So if you've been on the website for X amount of years, or even if you've changed your phone numbers, you didn't have the ability to change it. So I'm asking you, if you've changed your phone number, if you want to double check, please go into your settings page and double check or change your phone numbers, because it helps me tremendously that if there is an issue with the file, I don't have to just rely on email. I could call you up, and then it gets it sorted a lot quicker, and the customer gets their picture a lot faster. Other thing what we've done is on the website, we have our cutoff dates up and running. The framed prints, mounted, and just standard frame, they are cut off in the UK on the 15th of December, and the canvas prints, and acrylics are cut off on the 18th for pre-Christmas delivery. So get out and start advertising that. So plenty of time still, but obviously get the orders in sooner rather than later. Speaking of canvases and prints, I spoke to our manufacturers this morning. They're really have it under control, really confident of what we're doing. And so they said they were able to reduce the lead time from 5 to 6 days now to 3 to 4 days. So really good news from them.
So they're going to get the pictures. They can order them right up to the last minute almost, and still guarantee within 3 or 4 days. And that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So really good news coming out of those guys. So yeah, that's where we are with the frame prints, and then the canvas prints. And now speaking of the frame prints, because of inflation, we haven't had a price increase in the last 3 years or so. Our frame print manufacturers told us that there has been a slight increase. So you'll notice that in your base cost if you sell a frame print. Not much, just gone along with inflation, but it has arrived. So that's pretty much the news of the week at the moment. So
lovely, thanks, Mike.
Yeah. So John, what have you been up to?
Oh, not a lot. Just kicking back, relaxing.
I don't know if anyone watching these podcasts has noticed that John hasn't changed clothes in about 8 weeks.
Yeah, maybe I should
stuck in that one room.
Maybe I should put some different clothes on.
Well, I did call him this morning, and I looked at him. I said, "John, you've aged, man."
Yeah, thanks for that.
Well, at least you're going grey and not bald. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, the core thing is we've been getting some amazing feedback from the members. So better feedback means we can fix things faster. So what I mean by that is some of the level of detail that the members have been giving us, the artists have been giving us, has meant I can fix problems really quick. So there was a problem over the weekend. I'll talk about that in a minute anyway, that we fixed. And so it got me thinking on a Friday night, rather than being out like we used to be able to go out. I was thinking about how can we deal with this feedback and have some sort of clarity. And obviously, we're trying to juggle, lots of different things. So anyway, we've created this place where you can tell us what's wrong. So you can report bugs, and you can also suggest improvements. So if you found something you think, well, I wish it could work like this, you can suggest it into this portal. So it's a form of upvoting. So what happens is you post your listing. You say, okay, I'd love it if my photographs, I could automatically make them all black and white. I mean, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? So you could suggest that, and then if enough people all voted on it, it would go higher in the list. And then when it gets to the top of the list, we will look at it. Or we'll look at all of them anyway each day, just to see if there's anything new or interesting. And then the more people that vote on it, the quicker we will push it to the top of the queue, and we will start working on it. In fact, I might ask Stan just to pop a screenshot of it up there on the screen whilst I'm talking.
It's right up there.
It's up there. So you can see the feedback we're getting on the left, stuff that we are looking at, doing, planning, and then on the right-hand side, you can actually see what we're working on. So that's a great way. It gives you some clarity to see what's coming up as well. So that's how the upvoter works. And of course, what we're trying to do really is help you guys to build the easiest platform to sell photography online. So
that's That's it. Because there's two things. There's the capture the emotion, which we've talked about as our sort of thing that we do. But actually, we do want to make this the easiest place for people to market and sell their art online. So this is brilliant because it does help us to help you.
Yeah, and it means the more tools we can build for you, the easier it makes your life, and the faster you can make a sale. It's a win, isn't it? So
absolutely, yeah.
You can now suggest improvements. Now, one of the things that was a few people were sort of asking for was an extension to the primary key phrase. That was limited to 24 characters. So what would happen is it would cut it off or limit you to the length of that keyword or key phrase. And there's been a little bit of heated debate around it in the background here this morning. But for absolute clarity, that should really be just between 2 and 4 words that best describes your picture. So, and that does help with ranking on the website. And now you can put 48 characters in there. So you can put something a little bit more meaningful or longer, but don't overstretch it because that's not really what it's intended for.
Yeah, don't feel compelled to get the 48 characters in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not challenge accepted. It's
so yeah, and
right.
if you think about this, the simplest, the most effective messages you can have in life are the simplest ones. So all the greatest marketing campaigns for any kind of political movement, for example, usually just have three words, right?
The power of 3.
The power of 3. And that's why we are capturing the emotion, or capture the emotion is our brand position. It's because that is what we do for people. We do that for the customers, and you do it for yourself as well, right?
Yep.
Really important. So that's the way the marketplace is improving. Now we are working on collections. As we just said earlier, we are going to trickle it into, let a few people test it. Alison's going to be the first person to test it. And then after that, we will give a few more people the ability to test it. It is at the moment just working on the members site, the front end on the commercial side, which is obviously the bit that's really exciting because that's where you can build collections and sell them. That's an earlier stage of development. So there will be 2 releases. The first one will be you'll be able to go now and organize your photographs a bit better and search them and filter them. And then about a week later, you'll then be able to promote those collections as well. There'll be a whole collections page on the website. Exciting stuff. Feels like giving birth there. It's been such a 4 or 5 months of labour going into it. It's nothing like giving birth. Sorry, I've got 3 children, so I know what that's all about.
You stood on the sidelines of that.
Yeah. Great. So that's the technology. In terms of marketing, there's been some really good feedback around the way that our default search pages work. So first of all, pricing low to high and high to low doesn't always give you the results you expect. And for clarity on that, the reason for that being is some pictures are thin and long and square, and as a result of it, some products are actually cheaper to produce, although they're bigger than other products, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's always been difficult to do the low to high thing. But because we had this big debate this morning, out of which has come a lot of positivity, hasn't it, Mike?
Yeah.
We're all friends.
We're now friends again. What has come out of that is it's actually given Mike and I an idea of how we can look at pricing and actually get the low to high to work a little bit more accurately. So we're going to put that in the dev queue and we'll start working on that. But the really important thing to remember is people don't buy because of the price of something.
No,
just because it's cheap doesn't mean to say someone wants it. And, we have, when we were doing the brand and marketing for a lot of businesses that we work for, it's never about price.
No, and in fact, Google have just done a big study about this, and they've produced a series of graphs and stuff based on country. And actually, over the last 20 years, the search for cheapest has gone down, and people are actually searching for best.
Yeah.
Not cheapest. So it's quite clear. Yeah, people are after quality, not necessarily the price. They will pay a bit more for the right quality product.
Yeah, and we do have a marketing campaign that's just launched today. Well, actually yesterday, because this is going out tomorrow, isn't it?
Yep.
Trade secret released. But yeah,
Broke the illusion.
We're in the illusion. We did pre-record it. But Advent 2020 is live now. Woo-hoo.
Yes.
So Advent is a countdown to Christmas, and with that you get a 10% discount, and then the discount will drop off there. So that's now live. You'll see that on the site. Golden red. I love golden red.
I know.
So the other question is, why is all the different product types jumbled up when you land on the homepage? Well, rather like when you go shopping somewhere like Amazon, you'll find an array of products on the homepage. And the reason why that is so that people get to understand that we don't just do frame prints, we do canvas prints, we do acrylics, we do a varying range of products. So that is the reason why we have a mix match of products there. And for the moment, that's not going to change. But I think probably what we will do is display a banner now of the different products in a nice sort of setting, which Mark's going to design for us. And it will highlight the fact that you are seeing a collection of different products. And then if you want to look at frames or something like that, you can do so. So we're taking that feedback on board, and we're going to work on it like that.
Yep.
And the prize draw for November, the £500, is definitely live on Friday. That's tomorrow.
Yep. Tomorrow.
Yeah. So Friday morning, 10 o'clock, we will be going live, and we will be doing the draw there for the £500. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if it's going to be somebody else's birthday again, because that was pretty amazing last month. But there's a chance of that. And well, the prize draws have been a great way of helping people to motivate them to upload, and as a result of it, they've uploaded and they've sold pictures. So it's a win-win. So we've thought it's been such an amazing thing. We're going to do it again.
Surprise!
So it's another prize draw for the month of December. It's going to be 20 pictures you need to upload that have been approved, and it's going to be £500 again. So exactly the same thing again. So the chance for one person to win £500. So we will be putting more information about that up soon. Excellent. And I think that's it, isn't it?
That's it. Is that everything?
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Wow, that was a great one. Well, thanks very much, Alison, for coming on the show. And we will see you all live on Friday morning. See you later, guys.
See you later. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.